Today's Korean food challenge is one of my all-time favorites, Galbi Jjim, which is like a comfort food for me. Similar to meatloaf for Americans, I would say. It's important to get the cut of beef that has thick bone in the middle with chunks of meat attached. Traditionally, chestnuts, dried dates, and ginkgo nuts are added, but today, instead of ginkgo nuts, I'm going to use pine nuts and cooked marinated chestnuts. And the other side ingredients that go in the stew are daikon radish, carrot, whole shiitake mushroom. These are dried, so we need to soak them in lukewarm water for about 15 minutes to soften them. Here are some fresh galbi ribs. First, rinse the ribs in cold water to get rid of any excess fat, blood, or bone chips. I have some pieces here that have been soaked in cold water earlier for about half hour. So when you boil them in the water, it's not messy on the top and you can get the really nice clear broth. Here is a pot of water half filled. I'm gonna put this pre-soaked ribs in there and boil it for about 20 minutes. Well, I'm going to next peel this half piece of daikon radish, the carrot, very lightly, Korean pear, which I'll use a knife to cut it. Cut it about ½ inch and then cut them in squares. The carrot. And while the ribs are simmering, let's make the galbi sauce. In a blender, add half a brown onion, which I've pre-sliced, half a cup of soy sauce, 1/4 cup of ginseng or white cooking wine, 3 tablespoons of sesame oil, 3 heaping tablespoons of honey, half a dozen garlic cloves, and some fresh ginger slices. Blend all the ingredients for about a minute until you get a really nice and creamy galbi sauce. Next, strain the galbi short ribs that have been boiled for ½ hour and separate the clear broth into another pot for the galbi soup. To get a much more tender, juicier, and flavorful ribs, you need to score the meat before braising them so they will absorb all the wonderful flavors and ingredients from the galbi sauce. So in the meantime, I'm going to prepare another recipe which is a very popular dessert drink that we Koreans serve at the end of the meal. It's called sujeonggwa, which is basically the cinnamon sticks, dried dates, ginger, and persimmons. So in a stainless steel pot or saucepan like this, add all the ingredients. It's very, very easy. And add water. Close the lid and simmer for 45 minutes. Then serve it chilled with sugar or honey. Lastly, sprinkle some pine nuts on top as a garnish and added flavor. So now we're going to arrange the beef ribs in this clay pot. 4 big pieces, just enough, 2 servings. And then pour some marinade over it. Shiitake mushrooms, which I have already squeezed the water out. Carrot cubes. And the daikon radish. A little more on the top, like this. And finally, water. And it goes on the stove. When the meat is simmered for about 45 minutes, it becomes very tender and falls off the bone. And now I'm off to meet with Chef Pam at the Sur La Table with the Korean challenge of making Galbi Jjim. See you!
You too! How are you?
Wow, your Korean's really good.
Thanks, I've been practicing.
Yeah. So before we get started with anything, you want to tell the viewers a little bit about what you do?
Sure. I am the culinary manager, the chef at Sur La Table in Carlsbad, California, and I run a hands-on cooking school. It's single subject classes that anybody can sign up for. Our classes run 7 days a week. We run about 9 classes a week. Saturdays and Sundays we generally do baking. So we cover every subject you can think of. It is a blast to be in this kitchen.
Wow. It's so good.
What are you making?
I am getting ready. You actually wandered in at a great time. I'm prepping for a class. One of my students' favorite dishes to make is homemade pasta with a herb marinated shrimp and sauteed fresh tomatoes and roasted corn.
I love pasta. And I love shrimp.
It's so good. So easy to make at home too.
Oh, that's great. I can't wait. Right, you want to get started?
Let's get started. We need to make some pasta. All right, so we start with 2 cups of all-purpose flour in a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can do this by hand in a bowl. A teaspoon of salt.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a food processor, yeah, the old-fashioned way.
Old-fashioned way, by hand with a wooden spoon. The way my mom made it. Mix your flour and your salt up. Then we're gonna add 3 eggs.
So, how many servings is this?
This is 1 pound of pasta.
Okay.
So about, well, it depends. If it's like me, it's 4 servings.
Okay.
If it's my husband, it's 1 serving.
Exactly. Right. Homemade pasta. I've never actually seen like in person making pasta. It's like Koreans, Asians making rice, you know.
Exactly, something that you do on a daily basis but you don't think of.
Right. So you didn't pulse?
So you pulse it up about 10 times.
Okay. Oh, 10 times.
10
That's
times.
key.
It's important.
That's key.
Teaspoon of water
Okay.
and a teaspoon of olive oil. You might need to add more water. It depends on the day and the weather. It's quite humid today, so we're probably going to use less water. If it was a really dry day, you might need more water, but I'll show you real quick how to do that. Put the lid back on, pulse it another 10 times. Then you want to be able to pick up your dough. You want to stick your hand in here real quick and give it a feel. You want it so sticky that it holds together, but not so sticky that it sticks to your fingers.
Yes.
This is actually a little bit damp.
Okay.
So we're going to take this, put it onto a lightly floured surface. And we're going to knead it together really quickly until it comes into a nice ball. Then we're going to put it in the refrigerator and let it rest for about a half hour to allow the moisture to absorb more into your dough.
What is the key to like making good, like really consistency pasta? You know?
The key is making sure you have enough water and enough flour.
Okay.
So exactly what we're doing right now is testing and making sure that it holds together, that it doesn't fall apart on you, and it doesn't stick to your hand.
Exactly. All right.
All right, so I'm gonna get some plastic wrap real quick. We're gonna wrap this up.
Oh yes.
Like I said, it doesn't need to be super cohesive, just held together.
Okay.
We're gonna wrap this up and put it in the refrigerator. After you take it out of the refrigerator, you'll notice that the dough is a lot more damp and shiny than it was when we first put it in the refrigerator. It had a lot of flour left on the top of it. That's because the flour's had time to absorb all the water that we added and the egg that we added into the flour. Now we're ready to roll out the pasta, and this is the fun part. This is, every age group has fun rolling pasta. First thing that you want to do is dust it lightly in a little bit of flour, and then flatten it out with your hands as best as you can. At this point, it doesn't need to be in any particular shape. Then we're going to roll it through our pasta machine, just to get it flattened. Then we're going to roll it through on number 1 more time. At this point, you're ready to go. So once we have it the consistency we want, there's several different ways. It's more fun to cut the pasta by hand. You can either use a little fluted pastry roller or a knife. We're going to use a pastry roller tonight. That each piece is the same width so that as it cooks evenly. Then when you're done cutting your pasta, toss it in a little bit of fresh flour just so that it doesn't stick together.
Wow, that was very informative. I never knew how to make pasta like that. Yeah, especially in different numbers. My favorite is the number 9, angel hair pasta.
Mine too. With basil, tomatoes, and garlic. That is the
Yes.
best.
Oh, yeah.
good olive oil, a chunk of bread, a glass of red wine.
That's true. Oh,
Happy.
God, I'm hungry. So what's next?
So now we need to make our sauce. While our pasta's resting in the refrigerator, it's the best time to get your prep work done. We're going to start by taking an onion and dice it.
Okay.
So once the onions are diced, we are going to dice up our tomato. Best way to cut up a tomato is with a serrated knife. It cuts through the skin of a tomato much easier without making a big mushy mess.
Wow. Juicy.
We're gonna cut up some fresh herbs. I've got some basil and thyme. I've also cut up a little bit of mint and oregano. This cut is called a chiffonade and is so useful in so many different steps of cooking. So cut up our basil. Easiest way to pick the thyme. You don't want to use the stem because it's really woody and it's going to get caught in your teeth. You want to strip the leaves off, so hold it from the top and strip it straight down.
Oh, down. Okay.
Pull the leaves apart, and then the little bit that's left on top you can just pluck right off.
Exactly.
Chop some garlic. Easiest way to cut up garlic is with a garlic press. Pull it.
Yeah.
Give it a good squeeze. And then some fresh roasted corn. And I took this corn with the husk still on it, roasted it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes until the husk got really dark and brown and started to smell delicious in here. This is like a peeler. It just peels the corn kernel right off. For the marinade for our shrimp, we've taken the basil mixture that we've made. We're going to take a little bit of that, a little bit of the chili flakes, some fresh olive oil, salt, pepper, and our peeled and deveined shrimp. We're going to let that sit for about a half hour to 45 minutes.
For Chef Pam's pasta sauce, she first sautés some chopped onion in a skillet with some olive oil. Then she adds 2 cups of freshly chopped organic purple Cherokee tomatoes with a dash of salt and pepper. Next, she adds 2 cups of grated roasted sweet corns, sprinkles some chili flakes, and gives it a toss. She adds 2 tablespoons of salt in the boiling water, then the pasta. She gives it a gentle stir so the noodles are spread around evenly. In the meantime, she grills the skewered marinated shrimps in a heavy iron skillet. Chef Pam sprinkles some coarsely chopped parsley and thyme on the top and simmers it for an additional minute. Using a strainer, she removes the pasta noodles from the pot and into a large bowl. She pours the pasta sauce into the bowl and with a tongue, she mixes all the ingredients together. She then puts the pasta onto a plate and then adds some grilled shrimps on top.
Ooh, can I try now? Absolutely.
Is it? Do you usually put some cheese over it, or?
If I didn't have the shrimp, I'd add a little fresh one. But with the shrimp, you don't need any cheese.
Okay.
And you need a nice glass of wine.
Ooh.
To go with that as well.
Always. Let me just try the shrimp on its own first, okay? Wow.
I love garlic too.
It's a blend of the olive oil and the herbs. I love it to be a little chewy too.
Has some nice crunch to it.
Yes,
It's not rubbery.
Right, exactly. Homemade pasta.
Cooked like al dente. Al dente to the tooth, to the bite. Just want a little bit of a give in it.
Oh, perfect. Yes. Are you ready to take on the challenge of making a Korean dish?
Yes. I have been preparing for this.
I hope so. Well, do you know a little bit about Korean food?
No.
I have a sample for you. I pre-made that.
Perfect.
You can we do a blind tasting. Savor it in your mouth. Not too hot, is it?
No, it's delicious.
Have you had it before? Oh, okay.
What do you taste? The beef, which is very tender. Something that's really chewy right now, probably a mushroom.
Yeah.
A little carrot. It's a little sweet. A little soy sauce in it.
Yeah.
Give some balance, some ginger, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any onion in it or not, but that's...
It's in the stew, like the broth. Yeah. Here are the ingredients that I prepared for you.
Perfect. Looks like something marinated.
Yes, that's chestnuts.
Chestnuts.
I've actually boiled them and then marinated in honey.
Ooh, yeah.
So it's cooked. Yes. And then,
Ginger and garlic.
yep.
A little daikon.
I know, I wrapped it all up.
Onion. Look the way I know how to cut an onion.
Exactly.
The Asian pear.
Yep.
Carrot.
Yes. And this is the one, the
Shiitake
chewy
mushrooms.
stuff that you told me about. Yes. Koreans have a lot of dried vegetables. That's actually.
Is the smell it. And touch
Yeah, you
what
gotta
it is.
smell it. Koreans use it. Koreans
Sesame
use
oil.
It.
Toasted sesame oil.
Exactly.
Sesame seeds.
Yep. And this is the thing that you tasted too.
Pine nuts.
Yeah.
This is the ribs.
Yes.
Yum.
Then that.
A little honey. I'm gonna start by taking the bone out of the beef
Okay.
and thinly slicing it, and I'm gonna marinate it
Oh, okay.
with a little honey and ginger and garlic, I think, and then I'm gonna steam it.
Steam it.
So this is my trick with ginger. You might do the same thing. Ginger's peel
Yeah.
is so thin that I just take a
Yes.
teaspoon and peel it. I like my ginger subtle, not super strong. So, a little bit in here. I'll save a little bit for the vegetables.
Okay.
Little honey, soy sauce,
Sauce. Okay, about a tablespoon.
about a tablespoon. Perfect. I'm gonna let this sit and marinate for a little while I cut up the vegetables. I'm gonna use all the vegetables that you gave me, just because
I love
I can.
vegetables.
And slice in the onion, and then rock it up. And garlic. Fresh figs. Sauce. It smells really good too. Broth. Mushroom. So now I'm gonna plate my version of Galbi Jjim.
Oh, you guys smell so good.
It tastes so good.
I'm sure.
So hopefully I've got it right.
Yes. It looks so good. Tastes. It smells good. Then eat it, right? Is it?
All right. Sesame seeds.
That's what we always do in Korean dishes. We always garnish.
Sprinkle
Yes.
garnish on top.
Yep.
Some pine nuts.
Uh-huh.
So chef, let me know how I did.
Uh-huh. Wow, you pretty much used all the ingredients I gave you. I'm impressed.
Thanks.
Now I've got to taste it. But before that, let me show you my version.
Okay.
Ta-da! Here it is.
That looks delicious.
Thank you. The mushrooms I've actually just kept as is because of the shape, you know? And it was really nice, so I just put it on top of, you know, the whole thing inside a clay pot. So you can taste mine and I can taste yours.
Sounds good.
Stuff going on. The bacon, yeah, it's really sweet and juicy. I'm gonna try really steaming it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
This is something my whole family will like. I'm gonna have to recreate this at home.
Kids love it. Adults, I mean, growing up, it's like a comfort food for me. Like I was explaining, meatloaf for Americans. This is for Koreans. Galbi Jjim is it, you know?
It's delicious.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Chef Pam, for coming on my show and for inviting me to your wonderful kitchen at Sur La Table.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you passed out of this world. It's awesome. I'm sure the viewers, you have to try that at home. Must. There's nothing better than like homemade pasta, right?
It is true.
Okay. Well, we're out of time, unfortunately. So, but you have to come back, okay?
I'll be there in a heartbeat.
Okay.
You call, I'm in your kitchen next time.
All right, I'll take your word for it. Okay, folks, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, 안녕히 계세요.
안녕히 계세요.
All right, cheers. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join me on my next Korean food challenge.